The theme is to let go of intelligence having a look. I'm in the stage of my spiritual journey where I feel like I'm having a come down experience. I've been on it for about 2.5 years, and there's this aspect where you're high up in the ether. It's magical, there's momentum. You want to be in God mode all the time and everybody else to be in God mode. And I'm experiencing this for the first time. I really don't know if anybody else is, because I feel like people find their role and they kind of really stick to it. It feels really rather dynamic, rather static, not dynamic. I used to want the whole like glowing hands and constant deep conversations and seeing like powers and magical beings show up around me. Like that's what I would love to have out of life. Like how Harry Potter is, I want that to be my regular life. And something changed in the last week and a half. It was a blend of having an existential crisis about what does it look like to live in purpose, and also like what then the positive aspect, which is like, wow, I have fundamentally changed. Because bear with me while I explain. Having something like glowing hands, what is that to showcase? That you have power and you can see it. So the desire to want to have power indicates we might not, it might indicate we don't have as much as we would like. And to want to see it is so that we can believe it, right? And wanting to see external entities and beings and always being in contact and all that kind of stuff, it's this deep desire for a relationship that feels larger than life, that is supportive and all of our sides, on our sides. What am I saying? I'm grabbing the essence of the physical thing we desire. But what if that essence is embodied within you when you really integrate the knowledge of the cosmos through your spiritual philosophy? You won't really have that need anymore. In fact, you'll start seeing how naturally magical everything is around you. I'm not joking. And it's not some pointless platitude. There is intelligence everywhere. And we know how to see it, but we only know how to see it when it's packaged outside of us and then sold back to us. Easy example is like machine learning models and AI. They're built upon the intelligence of the human brain. And I can leave room for nuance and say, okay, well, another human being, a lot of engineers went behind creating this thing. Like, wow, it has so many usages. More people will use it for negative, obviously, but you know, it's mind-blowing in that way. And also, why can't we do those things? Can you imagine somebody just advertising basically a human being without telling you it's a human being, and advertising that as a technology back to you, and you're like, oh wow, without realizing you are the highest form of technology in the cosmos? You are intelligent too. When I think about space travel, astrophysics, quantum physics, learning that for a lot of us who are all interested in these topics, oftentimes it feels like there's a wall. It feels like it's not the most accessible. I know, after a certain point, you need to have context, expertise, and really be able to deep dive. You can't just live things in the most simple way 24/7 without any effort. But on YouTube, when I see what's on my algorithm, oftentimes it feels like a constant rat race for what's been discovered, what new term means this, what new particle could indicate that, and who's debating who on this, and what publication revealed that. And it's all in a quest to find the deepest cosmic truths and what reality is ultimately made of. But I'm going to challenge that and say it's still local. What do I mean by local? Local means just looking at it in one area, or evidence for understanding reality in just one way. That's, you know, external space travel. And industries that exist as well today. I mean, when you're learning something in school, it's not going to unfortunately be just for the pure love of that thing. There needs to be some component where you become a worker bee and use that knowledge in a way to contribute to society in a way that's meaningful through jobs and etc. Right? So learning about reality in an astrophysics, aerospace engineering sense will be more for like extracting resources, some space travel, something military operation related, you know? Is it really going to be for consciousness? Okay, let me hold on to that actually before I forget. So I always say the whole cosmos is conscious, and it's got its own subsets of multiple complexities of consciousness and levels and all of that, right? And a conscious thing is like responsible for this universe in a sense. So in the quest to learn about the cosmos, could you also not say that us also holding consciousness within us and being able to perceive and also being able to self-reflect, the data, the cosmic data that's really out there, just by learning more about our own consciousness, would we not also be able to perceive that? And also, when we think about properties of the cosmos, when you're looking up at the stars, what are you feeling in your heart? You're feeling magic. You're feeling the power of infinity. You're feeling complex data working out in some artist's dream that we get to sit back and look at with our coffees as, wow, so beautiful. I wonder how it all works. You don't have to wonder. It's all right here. And it's crazy to think that the impact of that kind of scientific discovery, or is it scientific spiritual? Is it just spiritual discovery? Why would it just be local and be coming in like a product or a device or a published paper? Wouldn't it affect your whole reality? Intelligence is working through us everywhere all the time. If the cosmos are infinite and there's that infinite available in our journey into it from within when we are spiritual, then doesn't it make sense to think that the output would also be something non-local and infinite, meaning it's everywhere? I'm talking your whole life being just different and better. It feels like we don't have the authority. And once again, there needs to be a distinction. Like, I'm not going to come onto this app and talk about being anti-science, right? But we don't also have to look at it as just one thing or having one look. Think about the word technology. What comes to your mind when you think of that word? Is there a look? Is there a sound? Is there a color? I have heard of the intelligence and the wisdom of ancient cultures in the ways they would build homes, in the way that they would sew quilts. I think there's a TikTok I saw not too long ago about like how it was following some binary system, some really intelligent algorithm, but it looked like a nicely made quilt. That was the outcome, not like a chatbot. So I guess it's not considered like real computer science. Those algorithms are there. Every time you're making a decision, there's data structures and algorithms in the mind that are running, right, to make those decisions. And we have that within us, but maybe it's a self-worth thing because it's within us. We feel like no way it could actually be truly cosmic, intelligent, and magical. And so I really want to challenge the viewpoint on what intelligence is, what science looks like, who gets to be the authority, and what technology is. And also, ultimately, what it does to you to kind of come down from a spiritual experience. And you'll have your come-ups and come-downs, right? Everything happens in their waves and cycles. But just like the cosmos, since we are one with that thing, and the macro mirrors the micro and vice versa, the cosmos, they grow, they expand, and they pause, and they integrate, structures form, and then there's more expansion that continues, and so on and so forth, right? So similarly with us too, that will be taking place on your come down, so to speak, which is where I kind of feel like I'm at, which is why I'm making this video. You're actually feeling divinity everywhere all the time. You're feeling the intelligence of everything working. And because you start believing you're intelligent, you start believing in yourself more. You believe in your dreams. When you're working in your highest intelligence, you are going to be efficient, like the cosmos. Like, your work that you might do might require 10 times more work than what would happen at a corporate job, but it's 10 times easier for you because you have that natural technology from within.